Welcome back to Pan-African Academy. My name is Imani Yohani Power. I'm talking to you from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Today we are going to be comparing African richest countries. I know a lot of you will possibly say, why are you working on this? Well, I have some new information about that. That's why I want to put that up, because when you go on most of media, YouTube, any place, they will launch African richest country on certain way that I want to change that. For instance, if you go on a range of the media, they will tell you that the richest country in Africa is Nigeria, the second one is South Africa, the third one is Egypt, and the fourth one is Ethiopia, and number 5, if I'm not mistaken, is Kenya, and number 6 is Angola, and so on. But today I have a different information for you guys who are listening to me. So without any further ado, let's start and look into those at least 4 richest countries in Africa, and then I will tell you which one is the number 1. So according to the resources that we have here on media, they are saying that Nigeria is the richest country in Africa. But I went over the top richest companies in the country, in Nigeria, in all those countries, and then I come up with the list or the number 1 richest country in Africa. So the richest companies in Nigeria is, the first one is Dangote cement share are not African. So Dangote cement share company, which most of them are not African. So the richest company in Nigeria will not be Dangote, because Dangote share company, the share is not owned by Africans. Number 2, the richest company in Nigeria is MTN, which owned by South Africa. So the second richest company in Nigeria is not also either owned by Nigeria either. Number 3 is BUA Cement, which owned by Nigeria. Airtel Africa, which is owned by India. So number 4 also is not owned by Nigeria. Number 5 is Nestle Nigerian Swiss, is owned by Swiss. Guaranteed Track Bank is owned by Nigeria. Zenith Bank is also owned by Nigeria. And Separate Petroleum Development, which is owned by England. So far we have 8 companies in Nigeria. And Nigeria only owns 3 of them. So in 80 companies in Nigeria, the richest companies in Nigeria only owns 3 of them. So that means Nigeria is possibly or is not the richest country in Africa, since it does not own all the business or the companies that makes Nigeria to be called the richest country in Africa. So the other one is South Africa. So South Africa, the richest company in South Africa is Anglo-American Platinum, which is not owned by South Africa. That's already Anglo-American. So is also not owned by South Africa. So Shoprite Holdings is not owned by South Africa. MTN is also not owned by South Africa. Absa Group Limited is not owned by South Africa. Impala Platinum Holdings is not owned by South Africa. Silver Water is not owned by South Africa. Standard Bank Group, that is the only bank owned by South Africa. Midvest is owned by South Africa. Goldfield is now owned by South Africa. And so now number 3, the third country that they say in Africa, the richest country, is Ethiopia. Ethiopia has the biggest companies. There is Midrow, is owned by Ethiopians. Ethiopia Airline is number 2, is owned by Ethiopia. Addis Ismail Textile is owned by Ethiopia. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia is owned by Ethiopia. Ethiotel is owned by Ethiopia. Arfad Construction Co. is owned by Ethiopia. Ethiopia Shipping Line is owned by Ethiopia. Tigray Board Mekele is owned by Ethiopia or Ethiopian. Malak Plants PLC Addis Ababa is owned by Ethiopia. Asir Al-Slah Industry PLC Addis Ababa is owned by Ethiopia. Safaricom is not owned by Ethiopia. Any general business PL is owned by Ethiopia. So that is Ethiopia. So Ethiopia, 10 of the companies, only one is not owned by
business
Ethiopia
news now. So Kenya's economy is projected
Kenya
to slow down to
Number 4 is Kenya. Safaricom comes as the
0.9% for the year ending June 30th this year. So according to analysis by the NCB,
with 40% owned by Vodacom. Vodacom is not Ethiopian, is not Kenyan company. Equity Group Holdings, top holdings, Rise BV of Norway and Netherlands, so it's not owned by Kenya either.
markets exacerbated by the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine, which has increased the cost of living generally. The
East Africa Brewery Limited, owned by the Yellow PLC, is not Kenyan, is not owned by Kenya. Number 5, Cooperative Bank of Kenya Holdings is owned by Kenyan. Standard Charter of Bank of Kenya, owned by Singapore. Number 6 is now owned by Kenya, it's owned by Singapore. Kenya Airways in Kenya Airways, Kenya Astra owns 7.8% owned by KLM. So it's not owned fully by Kenya either. North Star Cooling System owned by Indian Kishole already. So the number 8 is now owned by Kenya. The British American Tobacco is not in Kenya. LTD is not owned by Kenya either. But Barclay Bank of Kenya owned by South Africa. So 10 companies in Kenya. Kenya only owns 2 of them. So now, from this reason, I can tell you that the richest country in Africa is Ethiopia, because most of business in Ethiopia are owned by Ethiopia. Don't tell me that Nigeria is the richest country in Africa, because Nigeria does not own all those business and companies are in Nigeria, nor South Africa, neither any other country like Kenya I just said. Anyways, that being said, that was it for today. My name is Emmanuel Paulo. This is a Pan-African Academy, where today we're looking into the business and companies, because if you're going to say that our countries are doing good economically, but every business, every hotel, every beach, every banks, every airline we have is owned by people who are not African, so it's obviously a lie. You can call that. Anyways, so Ethiopia is the richest country in Africa, according to what I just proved for you guys. Have a nice week. I will see you on next one.